And so I'm running around with these kiddos, they jump in the kiddie pool and I'm, stomping my feet around in there. And it's a little sludgier than your typical kiddie pool. And someone walks up and says, that's the gravy for Thanksgiving. That's not a kiddie pool.
That's tough.
It was, it ruined the experience for everyone, I think. But I had a great time. It exfoliated my bunions.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Look, I'm the winner of the situation, all right?
And it's less gross when you eat it rather than the other people. Because you're just eating your own bacteria. The other people are eating your bacteria.
Right. And
Though the other people are kind of lucky. I wish I was eating your bacteria.
I didn't say it. Look. My son, he sucks on his toes all the time. He's very flexible. He's 6 months old. I think this is the closest that I could probably get to that. So
I'm glad you clarified that he was 6 months old.
Yeah, he's like 25.
Oh, man.
That's too good.
It's been so long. What is it? Like 7 days or something?
Yeah, I think 8. We usually record on Saturday. This is Sunday afternoon, so it feels like we're really kind of out of our element here a little bit.
Well, what did you do this week that was fun? Or not fun?
Well, I'll tell you what. It was a typical work week, and I feel like I say that every week, but sue me. But I did notice that...
We know how to sue on Suits.
We know how to sue. We have a lawyer in our midst now that Bo Martin has watched Suits, so I'm grateful for that. But yeah, Friday I went to work, and the sun was just absolutely beaming, like it usually does in the morning time. And about that time, no thunder, no lightning, just rain, an absolute deluge comes down, but the sun is still shining on us. Do you know what that's called?
No.
It's called The Devil is Beating His Wife.
Oh, praise God.
Praise God
So
for that.
sorry. So sad to hear, though.
It is
But
sad
are we
to
really
hear.
surprised the devil commits domestic abuse?
That's what you get when you marry the devil, I suppose. But that's an old phrase that I was raised on in the panhandle of Florida. I know some other folks that say it as well. But I thought to myself, sometimes here in Florida, it's sunny and it rains, but this was so much rain and so much sunshine. And I thought to myself, man, the devil's really beating his wife. And I hadn't thought about that phrase for quite a while, and it came to me. So that was kind of a revelation, I guess, on a Friday morning. And then also kind of staying along the theological vein here. This morning, I was going to church with my family. I step out the front door of my apartment, and sitting outside is this bag of Wingstop. And I say to myself, I'm just so blessed in so many ways. The Lord has just provided for me in more ways than I can count. Did I say that because of my beautiful family? No, I say it because there's a bag of Wingstop that's just sitting on my porch. And so I started doing the math in my head. If someone ordered this, if it's still here by the time we get back from church, that's only, maybe 2.5, 3 hours. It's still probably editable. And then Molly said, there's no way Wingstop's open at 8:30 in the morning. That definitely got dropped off last night, which is pretty devastating. And so that, it didn't ruin my day, but I stuck my head in the bag and I gave it a sniff to see if it was still good. And I was tempted to eat some fries and wings because I peeked in and they looked delicious. But they were
But they weren't yours.
Nope, they were probably 12 hours old at that point. Someone from DoorDash had dropped them on the wrong doorstep.
I feel
One
bad
man's
for
trash is another man's
whoever
treasure, I suppose. So
whoever ordered it was probably going on a wild goose chase around your neighborhood just to try to find it.
yeah, I mean, I would go around to every building with the same apartment number and be looking for my food. And if I still couldn't find it, I'd be pretty upset with DoorDash. So hopefully they got a poor review and got their money back. So,
Or
but
got their money back and left a good review for such great customer service.
well, I don't know why you do that, but oh, but yeah, that was kind of it. Just this morning, I was really in my feels a little bit because the Lord was tugging at my heart, saying, "Here's this delicious lunch that I dropped off for you," but it probably had salmonella, so I didn't eat any of it. I dumped it. I dumped it. I threw it in the dumpster. But yeah, somebody was not pleased to not get their dinner last night. So.
Well, I'll say salmonella is a problem, especially when you have it.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you don't have it yet.
me as well.
But if
and
you
then,
keep eating those raw rolls, then you might just get it.
look, raw dough and raw chicken are a little different. Raw dough has eggs, which Rocky eats eggs raw. He doesn't eat a chicken raw. That could be bad. So
That would be chicken tartare.
Yeah, I don't know if they do that. Chicken tartare. Maybe your
They
dad could.
in the
whip some up.
East, they do. Not American East, but in the perspective of the globe,
Mm.
India, those places, they do tartare of poultry. Kind
You
of
think
crazy.
that's a different? You think they raise the birds a little differently than us, or what? Or
I
they
think
just
they're
don't
just
care?
built different over there. That's kind of like the whole hair thing. You train yourself, baby. You'd be like the Liver King one day.
Just eating raw chicken. Oh, and then only other thing I could think of really is about 30 seconds before we started this podcast, I got a text from my wife that the Paisanos that is opening about 300 feet away from me is open as of
Oh
today.
yeah.
And she saw it on
Oh
social
yeah.
media, and I was licking my absolute chops. Talking
Good
about
stuff.
talk about some rolls, Paisanos rolls. Every episode of Quite Frankly is going to have me just raving about different chains rolls, and I'm okay with that. Paisanos is so delicious.
Oh, so y'all are going to celebrate this evening.
We might have to. I mean, it's a definite possibility.
I would be sad and disappointed if y'all didn't.
Okay.
I'm just throwing that one out there.
I'll send you a picture for proof with my
Yes.
cheeks just stuffed with those
And your
garlicky, buttery
chops
rolls.
licked. Oh boy. Well, that's
Ugh.
great to hear. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, the past couple of days have been a real roller coaster for me on the culinary side of things. Um,
It
but
does seem there's a theme in our lives, and it has to do with culinary. Oh man.
well, what have you been up to this week?
So this past week, well, last week we talked about pickleball, playing in the tournament
Mm-hmm.
with my friend Jeremy. And we were deciding what to wear, so here's what we decided to wear. We had some matching headbands, orange and white, and matching wristbands, orange and white. We wore a Sin Relief t-shirt, same color, the blue one. We had black shorts, white socks, and we have the same pickleball / tennis shoes. So pretty much every part of us was matching. And it was, quite frankly, one of the greatest matching jobs I've been a part of. Because it was an exact match. It wasn't a complimentary match.
Right.
It was a precise.
So how would
And
you?
we look scary.
You walk on the court, you're like, oh my gosh.
We walked out there. As soon as we walked in the door, we said, boo.
So how did y'all compare matching wise with the other teams? Did any of the other teams match, or were y'all the only other ones that look coordinated here?
There's a local construction company called Scorpio in the Gainesville area
I'm familiar
that
with
we're
it.
playing, and they were wearing
Green, probably.
matching green shirts,
Yeah.
but that's all they had. We had everything. We actually added accessories.
Just
So
so
we
you
were
could,
like,
just so you could match.
yes.
You're like any
So we
fool can
were
wear a
the
green
most
shirt.
matched.
What's that?
Exactly. We were the most matching team out on that court.
That's
But it was a
lovely.
lot of fun. It was for Created Gainesville, which is a company or a nonprofit organization that helps victims of human trafficking. So,
Seems
pretty
like it was
intense stuff.
for a great cause.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. What else? I watched the season finale, and I didn't know it was the season finale until Thursday afternoon of The Summer I Turned Pretty, which I don't know if you've seen any of the episodes,
Mm-mm.
but I'm not always a huge fan of watching television shows that main characters are children in. These kids are 16, 17, 18 years old. They're breaking the law at parties, that kind of stuff. And do you want me to spoil it or not?
You're fine to spoil it for me, but we can just say, look, if you're listening to this podcast, maybe skip ahead a minute or
There
so
is a
because Bo's about to
yes.
give the fattest spoiler of all time.
Yes, this is a big disclaimer. I'm about to spoil kind of some of the show. Anyway, and that starts now, onward. There's like a love triangle between this woman, a child, a girl, and these two brothers. Yeah, you're telling me. It is off the chain strange. One of the brothers is older in college, first year. One of the brothers is younger, the same age as the girl, and they're just picking fights at each other. But I'm not gonna say how the season ends because I'd feel bad. But one of the brothers gets chosen as "You are my pick," and I thought to myself, anytime that you are the choice, you're a choice between someone, and it takes a long time to choose.
Mm.
I'm not saying it won't work out. I'm saying statistically, it probably will not. And from what I can see, their relationship isn't born out of a love for Christ.
Okay.
So I'm guessing, and this is just a guess, that the odds are not in their favor. However, I'm also predicting that they will be because the show is fictional and the writers can do whatever they want to.
Yeah.
So, that's that. The Summer I Turned Pretty and Pickleball with a Purpose. It was a great week. I had a lot of fun. I smiled a lot.
Oh, that's great.
I love to smile when I'm in a good mood. But sometimes when I'm in a bad mood, smiling helps. You're in a bad mood, just crack a joke. Just smile.
Smile it
Smile and
away.
cry if you need to. Just let those tears flow with a big grin on your face. And then take a picture of yourself and then send it to your loved ones. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Well, do it, but don't tell me. I don't care what you do. I'm just saying you can smile throughout life. You can smile through suffering. I was listening to a sermon today at church, and it was basically talking about joy-filled suffering. Perhaps instead of pickleball with a purpose, we say pain with a purpose.
Mm.
I don't have the expertise or education to explain theologically suffering. However, if you want to have a conversation, Brett, or anybody, you just talk to me face to face. I'd be happy to have that conversation. But I'm going to be honest, I don't feel comfortable saying anything overarching in this podcast because I'm going to say it wrong, and then someone's going to find this and they're going to obliterate me. And quite frankly, I don't want to be obliterated, at least right now.
Oh, well, I hope you know that I'll never obliterate you.
Thank you so
Although,
much.
you know, some people in the comments might obliterate you. I feel like we've been getting obliterated pretty hard, but, you know, that's life sometimes. Sometimes you just get obliterated.
It is. You get your head cut off, and you just don't have a move left to do, other than grow another head and let them cut that one off too.
Yep.
You've been watching golf lately?
I've been watching golf. Before we shot this episode, I was watching, I believe it's the BMW Championship, and old Scotty Scheffler is currently in the lead, but they're playing as we speak, so he could be 20 shots behind at this point. That was, 20 minutes ago whenever I looked at it. So anything can happen in the game of golf. It's very fast-paced. I saw that Mr. Spieth, I believe, he shared a sandwich with a fan, and it was
That's
his.
Beautiful.
What's that?
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful, and it was his sandwich. If I was a pro golfer and I walked by somebody, who's standing there watching me golf, and they had a delicious fat sandwich, I'd be like, hey, you think I can get some of that sandwich?
Hey,
But
boo.
it was
Go
his
get me another
sandwich.
sandwich.
and he gave half of it to a fan, so props to you, Mr. Spieth. You got a lot of brownie.
Can we all congratulate Mr. Spieth right now? Take a moment.
Yeah. You're a kind man with a kind heart, and it's just, a fan who's hungry. And I could see myself in that same position out there watching golf. It's hot. Hey, man, can I get a sandwich? And he actually gives you one? That's incredible. That's the Lord working right there.
I can just picture that conversation. Those sandwiches are $35 for a ham sandwich in the club shop. May I please have one bite? Just one little crumb, Mr. Spieth, please.
Just begging for his crumbs. I'll eat the crust. I'll just eat the crust. Do you want the crust?
May I have a little piece of cheese with that crust?
Oh, goodness. I read an article and I confirmed it was a peanut butter banana sandwich. Man after my own heart. If it was crunchy peanut butter. And I might get obliterated in the comments for that, but big crunchy peanut butter guy. So,
peanut butter and banana Sammies are critical out on that course. You get that potassium, you get those proteins and fats for that energy and fuel, and you're good to go. It's
a great combination, especially when you're walking 18 and it's a fairly slow pace because they're pros, they take their time. You gotta sustain that energy, But that's really the only golf news that I take in is just guys that get caught for murder from golf and guys that beg for sandwiches. So
that's really full circle, kind of. We got someone doing something selfish in the beginning, killing someone, wrongfully killing someone. If there is a right Right.
There's
Once
no
again,
self-defense.
killing him is wrong at all times. And then you have someone sacrificing something for someone,
Right.
i.e., the sandwich, so that that sandwich, the sandwich requester, could flourish at the golf
Right.
tournament.
It's beautiful.
It is.
And I'd say on some levels it reflects the gospel, and I think that's the best part about it.
That is so true. Who was wrongfully killed?
I don't know the man's name, unfortunately. May he rest in
I was
peace.
thinking Jesus. I was thinking Jesus Christ.
I thought you meant the guy in the villages. The guy in the villages did not die to save the world from their sins.
Oh boy!
It's so wrong. Oh, gracious. So wrong. Speaking of punching people, I've also been
What do
following.
we? Oh,
I've also been following the UFC, and there's a man. He's a skinny white guy, and he's got cornrows that are dyed pink, and he's covered in tattoos. And you think this guy's quirky. He'd probably be at a skate park, and you're like, man, this dude probably doesn't do much for society, you might think. But last night, this man's name is Sean O'Malley, and he's the Sugar Show without the R, so it's just the Sugar Show. Last night, he won the bantamweight championship in the UFC. Clocked a dude with a nasty right hand, followed up with some ground and pound, bounced his head off the canvas a little bit. Really makes me think about the villages again. But yeah, congrats to the Sugar Show for finally getting that belt.
that's huge. I saw on the social media somewhere that the Sugar Show once did a bet for like $50 9 years ago. I forget what the bet was, so this makes this story much less interesting. But now he's winning championships. So, talk about a trust the process, you know?
Right.
You go from gambling with maybe it was his hair. No, it was his eyebrows. Shaved his eyebrows for $50.
Oh,
So, go from gambling with his eyebrows to willing to get punched, submitted, killed out on that mat,
yeah.
if you might. So that's beautiful.
And I will say also he's probably the most confident person that I've ever heard in my life, outside of Conor McGregor maybe. He kind of runs along the same vein. They asked him, are you surprised you won the championship so soon? And he said, not at all. I think, this is what he said, I'm the greatest bleeping fighter in the whole UFC or something like that. So he does not lack confidence by any means. And he's got a foul mouth too. So
Oh, he didn't say bleeping. He said something instead of bleeping.
yeah, he said a nasty word.
See, I thought you were saying he said, literally, I am the greatest bleeping fighter.
If
And
he
I
had
was
censored
wondering,
himself,
what is
I'd
bleeping
appreciate
fighting?
that. But unfortunately, he's got a filthy mouth, and he needs to work on that.
Well, we all have filthy mouths. It just might show differently. We're not all cussing up a storm, but we're not always stirring one another up to love and good deeds.
That's certainly true.
Oh boy. Have you seen, speaking of stirring one another up, did you see Pete Alonso throw a rookie Mason Wynn's first hit in a baseball game into the stands?
I didn't see it. Someone at work was talking about it, but I didn't see the video of it.
So Pete Alonso, Mason Wynn, who is the 21-year-old who hit the baseball, he gets his first MLB hit, Major League Baseball, for those of you who don't watch a ton of sports. And he gets safe to first. Pete Alonso is the first baseman, yes? So he catches the ball, late throw, safe at first. They call timeout. Pete Alonso is then just holding the ball, tosses it to a fan in the stands, not even thinking. And Pete has been super apologetic. He made a mistake and he's owned up to it. So this guy's first major league hit, and the crowd, they're panning to the woman who has caught the ball, and they begin to boo Pete, and then the security guards come up to the woman and ask her for the ball, and she's kind of giving up a fight because she's like, well, it's my ball now, what are you going to give me kind of item.
Oh,
so the
my
fans
goodness.
start booing the woman. So now we got two booers. We got people booing Pete. We got people booing the woman. Actually, we have three because we have people booing both of them. Long story short, the woman gives up the ball. I'm certain she got something incredible in return. The woman gives up the ball. The Pete then gives Mason Wynn an autographed bottle of 1942 Don Julio tequila,
Oh,
which I just thought was a nice gesture, you know. But anyway, there was a little drama, and it's all been resolved. And it's just quite nice to see that we can resolve drama. We can resolve angst, anger,
yeah.
and yeah.
I would say 1942. I thought you were talking about a Yellowstone spinoff, but apparently it's tequila. So if tequila is
Pete
necessary,
Alonso, Pete Alonso directed an entire show for Mason Wynn based off the series Yellowstone.
hope you enjoyed it.
That's funny.
Oh, that's too good. That's too good. Well, let's do a little word from our sponsor here. Have you ever felt a sharp pain in your inner thigh? How about just under your latissimus dorsi? The new pain management tool called Massage Me Please is sweeping the shelves both brick and mortarly and digitally. With the most advanced tech in the agency, you simply place the product on your most tight and not filled spot on your body and say, massage me please. The product is voice activated, and once it recognizes that the fibers in your bones are loosened, it replies, all done. What's more, every 5 seconds it collects data and asks, does that feel better, Mr. Walters? It learns your behavior and adjusts accordingly. With the newest AI features in the world, you can't help but ask, massage me please, for help.
That's beautiful. I wish I had one of those. Maybe they'll send me one. You have one. Does it work well?
I do, and it's incredible, honestly. After a leg workout, you get that thing going on the buns, and you just kind of yell back at it, massage me, please. And you just hear it back there doing its thing. And after, 10, 12 minutes, it's like, all done, Mr. Walters. I'm like, all right, over to the other cheek, But it's great. It's a great piece of technology. A lot of people say AI is going to ruin the world. And I say my legs and my bottom, the muscles are loose because of AI. And they're nice and, limbered up and whatnot. So if you'd like to use mine, I'll let you borrow it for a little bit.
That's pretty generous of you. I might take you up on it. Well, last week we made a plea for merchandise, and on one of our posts, there was a man named Mo who commented and said, "Who asks for merchandise when you have 5 followers?" And there was another man named Connor who replied to him, "You just got to trust the process. These boys know what they're doing." And I just felt so validated by this man named Connor. And I want Mo, if you're listening, I want you to know that you're incredible. And we appreciate your feedback. And we heard you, but we're probably not going to listen to you because we are going to still sell merchandise. And now we have 9 followers. So, Mo, take that and give us no Mo.
Yeah, he was really trying to take a proverbial dump on our business strategy, but look, I mean, we're making sales. We're making some dough. I mean, I think he wants to join the team possibly. That might be why he's a little jealous.
That would make sense.
But
Maybe he's hurt.
I'm sure he is. He sees all the money we're making. And that's obviously hyperbole. We're still technically in the red on this podcast, and we are 100% over our heads financially. So all this talk about making money is false. And we'd love for you to purchase merch. Like Mo said, I mean, we've only got 5 followers. I know more people listen to it than that. But we really need merch sales to keep us going. Or cold hard cash. Either one.
Yeah,
Cash is easier to hide from the IRS. So I didn't say that. We'll have to cut that out.
No, we do not promote that.
Of
We
course
do not
not.
promote that.
Of course not.
It's just a fact that is being shared.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Have you heard of the dog, reptile, bear, and eagle scale for ranking men?
I have not heard it. I know you texted me about it a couple days ago, but that's all I've heard about it.
Yeah, so there's this new trend that's you rate men based on their looks, which is a problem in and of itself, but we're going to still do it anyway because we compromise on our beliefs. And so to me, dog, reptile, bear, and eagle, I kind of put them in those categories based on how they make me feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does a dog make me feel? Who coordinates with a dog? And kind of, if you look at that person, what do you see? If that makes sense. So, I don't know if you've given any thought, but do you have any thought on that?
I do. So for the dog, and we're just going celebrities here.
Yes.
FYI, but for the dog, I've chosen our good friend and mentor, Owen Wilson.
Wow.
I think that he is kind of like you said. I mean, I was doing it based off looks, but also kind of the vibe that they give off. He just gives me loyal dog vibes. And especially with his hair, like one of those dogs that has kind of the shaggy hair going over their eyes. That's my take on the dog.
That makes sense.
As far as the bear, I have Zach Randolph, who was a former basketball player and center for the Memphis Grizzlies. He's a large man. Quite frankly, dude looks like a bear. I mean, a big old grizzly bear. So that one was pretty simple. And then my eagle, I have Riley Cooper, who played wide receiver for the Florida Gators and also the Philadelphia Eagles. He's got the used to have long flowing hair. He's got the strong nose, kind of I won't say beak, but he's got a strong nose. Unfortunately, he had the whole Kenny Chesney concert incident. But that doesn't stop him from looking like an eagle. And then the reptilian, I have one of my favorite actors, Jake Gyllenhaal. I love his acting ability, but I think also since all of the Taylor Swift crowd has recently gone after him and attacked him, that makes me want to stand by his side 1,000 times more. So I'm picking him because I think he's an attractive dude. And I also think that it's silly to hate a guy because of a silly scarf or sweater or whatever it was that she wrote the song about. So, but I think all those things in my mind, my subconscious, I think Owen Wilson, he's in Marley and Me. That's a
It
dog.
makes sense. It makes sense.
Zach Randolph, Bear, played for the Grizzlies. Same thing, Riley Cooper, played for the Eagles. My mind does these things, but these
Your
guys
mind is
do look
brilliant.
like the animals that I'm portraying them as, but they also played for teams and acting roles that had to do with that animal. So that's a little bit of a trip into my psyche. How about you?
Well, you brought up Taylor Swift, and I don't really shy away from an opportunity to talk about Taylor Swift because I know many people who follow her almost religiously, and I want them to stop. It is a deep passion of mine. I can't force them to stop, but I have a passion for them to move away from Taylor Swift because I don't think she does a good job of building others up. And she doesn't do a good job of encouraging others to build others up. Anyway, I need to stop before I become rude. And I want to be weary of my attitude toward her because I love her. I love her just as much as I love Vladimir Putin, you know?
My gosh. Someone's going to take that snip of our podcast and they're going to say, look what Bo Martin said.
That's fine with me. If they say Bo Martin loves Vladimir Putin and Taylor Swift equally, that's okay because they don't know the context.
Right.
I'm speaking from a image bearer of God perspective. That's critical. I'm not in love with Vladimir Putin, and I'm not in love with Taylor Swift. I don't love everything they do, but I love them as their reflection and images of the Lord. Anyway, that's my comments on Taylor Swift, and somehow Vladimir Putin got in there. But for Reptile, I'm going to have to go with old Keanu Reeves. Whenever I think he's slithery and slippery. Whenever I think of Keanu Reeves, I think of John Wick, to be precise. And how you can't really be more slippery and slithery than John Wick. I mean, the guy is an absolute terror when it comes to murdering his enemies, but also respecting the rules. For my eagle, I'm going to have to go with Matthew McConaughey. And when I think of Matthew McConaughey, I just think that he would do his bird-like motion and go, caw! And that's exactly what I think of Matthew McConaughey. And he has the hair back, so the locks would be flowing back as he would be flying in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but it made sense in my head. For my bear, I'd have to go with Matt Bomer. Which, I don't know, not many people would know him by name, but he is the main character on the show White Collar. And, my goodness, is he attractive. He is just, I would say, classically handsome. And that's
Okay.
what I think of Bear. So, like, Matt Bomer, Zach Randolph, those are two good categories to comment and say classic handsome.
Yeah.
My dog, or not my dog, it's not my personal dog, who I would see as a dog, but if I met this man, I would call him my dog, is Mr. Bean Mr. Bean is. Anytime I think about Mr. Bean, I say my dog, and he's like, "I'm Bean, bro." But I just see him as like that golden retriever. You tell Mr. Bean to go somewhere, he's in. Now he might be I can see a little wall and barrier in his life from what I've seen. But once you break through that wall, he is authentic as can be. And I feel like that's what a dog is. Dog wants love and affection. But think about when some dogs are insecure, so they're scared to open up. But when they experience that love and tender care, they tend to open up. Then they receive it well, and through receiving it, they give it back well. And I just feel like that would be Mr. Bean. But that's my eagle, dog, reptile, bear.
That's an incredible list. I think we've compiled probably 8 of the most handsome men in the world. I'd like to see anybody's list up against those 8 because I think we got them beat. So
We do. Does your spouse emit toxic gas from their bum while you sleep? Do they waft the sheets to get rid of the smell? Or trap it in to simmer in the dreaded touch of it? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. This, I can already tell, this is an incredible product because my wife does this all the time. We'll say, we'll say goodbye to all those issues with the gas stress ventilated mattress. Oh, these marketers are onto something.
they know what they're doing.
The gastress is outfitted with patented ventilation technology that creates a high-pressure system around your chest and torso to push these stinky gases out of the foot of your bed. Now you have no need to fear when your husband tries the Tiki Tom's lava hot wing challenge for the 10th time. And you won't have to sleep on the couch just because your wife's tummy is upset anymore. Use code Quite Frankly to get yours 5% off today. I'll be honest, Tiki Tom's lava hot wing challenge. I've done it before, and well, my wife kicked me out of the house. It was that bad. So we're not really on speaking terms anymore because that was last night.
Oh yeah, that
If only
that hot wing lava challenge is it's a burner. That's all. That's all I'll say about that.
That's one way to say it. The Gastress mattress, it's coming in tomorrow, so we should be good to go after that if I can mend my relationship. But if not, then I'll just have it.
Then you won't have to Dutch oven yourself, even if you're alone.
Right.
You can release, all those methane gases, and you won't have to worry about, the Dutch oven is gone forever. I think that's the point of their advertisement.
No, that's fair. That advertisement that invention is a little too potty mouthy for my taste. So I was giggling a little bit, and I apologize if any of the words weren't incoherent, because it was bringing up my past experiences from last night of the Tiki Tom's hot wing sauce challenge. And then it brought up I don't use the word Dutch oven. I don't use the word methane gases very often. So they were reintroduced to my vocabulary, and it was just a blend of beauty is what I would call it.
Well, I'll have to reach out to the marketers at Gastrus and let them know that, hey, if we're doing a reading for your product, maybe let's make it a little more PG so we can get through this, you know?
We got kids watching this.
That's right.
They don't even know they need the gastrus yet.
They don't even know what a Dutch oven is. Let's get real.
That's true. That's true. Well, brother, what have you been listening to? One song that you've been enjoying?
So this week I've been enjoying some old Kenny Chesney. And when I say old, I mean 2004, a song called Anything But Mine. And so it's basically just a song about summer love and just whenever you're young and you're sun-kissed, you know, there's a little sunburn on your skin, and there's just so much wonder in the world, you know. But really it makes me think about the summer winding down, which is really the time of the year that we're at. School's starting back up, and I just remember as a kid, you know, my parents would play this particular CD, me riding in the back, and over the summer there's just so much wonder, and it just makes you feel a certain type of way whenever it's winding down, you know. So we got to take every moment and live like it's our last, you know.
I do know. And did this come up because you were thinking about Riley Cooper so much, or was it kind of vice versa?
It was. That's an excellent little connection you made there, but I'll say I listen to Kenny Chesney a lot more than I think about Riley Cooper. So
That's probably a good statistic.
but yeah, he's an incredible artist. I hope to see him live one day. Maybe there's folks hanging out with fishnet shirts at his concerts as well.
Maybe we can wear our fishnet tops.
And we'll be those guys.
Yes, we'll be them.
How about you,
George?
Kenny?
Oh man, that's good. I've been listening to a song called "Honey from the Rock." It's funky. It kind of gets you wanting to dance a little bit, kind of move the shoulders. It's by a woman named Kelsey Breedlove, which is just fascinating. Quite the name.
Yeah.
But this "Honey from the Rock," it's a vibe. It's a groove. That's how I can explain it. Funky and groovy. It makes you want to dance. Here is the thing, though. I wouldn't recommend listening to it in the car because your bones will start moving so much because you're just going to want to move around and dance. So only listen to it out of the car. Maybe
Right.
when you're standing, maybe in a crowd you could turn it on and just start doing a little dancey dance. But I'd leave that up to you, the listener. But if you do that, I would challenge you to share that with us via video. And we might just repost it. That would be fun.
That would be lovely. But like you said, outside the car is preferable. We don't need folks with their legs doing this number
No.
while they're driving.
Otherwise, you'll get in a car crash, injure yourself, and then you'll need the massage me please.
Yeah, and lawyers will be showing up at my door and your door. That's the last thing we need.
And they won't be bringing Wingstop wings either.
I'm like, how long have those wings been out there?
Oh. Well, like I mentioned earlier, last week we made a plea for merchandise. And quite frankly, you, the listener, showed up. You bought some. We made our first sale of merchandise. And I'm just so pleased by your generosity. And I'm honored by your generosity to buy such an item. As Brett shared with you, we are in debt on this podcast, which many of you would say that's probably not wise spending, to which we would respond, but we believe in this, and we believe in you, and not for you to give us money, but we believe that you are going to make a change and difference in the world, and that's why we're doing this podcast. So take our money away if it must be that we create a nation, a people, in a world where life can flourish. That's the end goal, you know?
Right.
And And merchandise is just a little piece of the pie. So quite frankly, I love you. Brett loves you, I can tell from his face.
I do. I'm nodding in agreement here. I love all
Yes.
of you. Quite frankly, I love all of you, especially those that buy merch. But yeah, I mean, we're just here to spread the love, if you will. And so it's greatly appreciated whenever you guys want to wear clothing or anklets or have coffee mugs that promote the love, if you will. So yeah, we're not going to get rich off this thing. Quite frankly, as Bo mentioned, I doubt we'll ever get into the black on it because we have invested so much. A lot of time, a lot of money that you can't get back, but that's aside. We love all of you, and we're here to do a mission, no matter how much it costs. But I will say, if we don't make enough, we won't be able to continue. I live in an apartment. I don't own a house. I can't take out a second mortgage because I don't own any assets. So this is our plea. Is that you would spread the love a little bit. Buy some merch. Rep the brand. It's critical.
It is it is critical. Oh boy. This has been a blast, and I can't wait to see your faces virtually once again in 7 days. Any parting words, my brother?
I love you all. That's how I'll finish it off. I love you all.
Well, that would make two of us. Y'all have a great week. We'll be in touch soon.